This is a 10-inch faceplate, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 4 jaws on there in an independent way so I can set them myself. I think this is much better for woodworking. Let's go. But first of all, I want to show you what happens here. Someone gave me this faceplate many years ago. Unfortunately, it does not have a thread in here. So what I did is I centered a hole and I put a 1/4 inch screw thread in there. That is a 1/2 inch Whitworth bolt that goes inside there, which has already had a tapped thread. So similarly, this is how it worked one time, but they're just locked on to a wood lathe. Anyway, so what I've done is I've put it up there, but you can see the thread on the wood lathe is not the same as this thread. I'll just take this out and I'll show you. One is a 8 threads per inch and one is a 10 threads per inch. Now the 10 thread per inch is a BSF, and a lot of wood lathe are made with that BSF thread, whereas a lot are also made with 1 inch Whitworth threads, and of course there's 40mm, etc, etc, etc. So what I did is, well, how can I fit this on? And it runs pretty central, and how could I lock that on there without going too much expense? So hence it had a 1/2 inch thread inside there, so I'll put that 1/2 inch piece of high tensile steel rod in there and drill a hole in it and tap the hole 1/4 inch. And then what I do is I put that up to there, slip it on, and of course tighten the mandrel. But the only problem here is what happens, it can still spin, right? Even if that's locked up tight, you can get it to spin with the plate. So I had to come up with an idea what to do in my next exercise. So I went over here and I'll show you what I've been doing here. Incidentally, all these ideas I've come up have been put onto paper, but I'll head you over to this other section. Excuse the mess. I am cleaning up my workshop. At the same time I got excited, I thought I'd better go and do this. And here is a little a locking tab, and I'm about to weld a bolt on there, and I'm trying to keep it all Whitworth and or UNC, so it's a imperial thread type thing, and that's the process I'm going through at the moment. I'll just leave it there for the time being. Thank you very much. When you do this type of work, when you're joining metal together and you've got to get it accurate, you have to be very accurate with your alignment, and plus when you come to weld things, you've got to have a flat surface. So pinning this here is good, okay, but if I was to weld up here first, I would have a problem. But what I do is I get the spark going about here, I'll get it the rod arcing, then I quickly go to here, fill it up, and then go back that way, and then come back this way to there. Welders will know what I'm talking about, but if you start there, you'll burn it, okay? And you might get the penetration too. But if you get that on the side there, the weld, okay, that will not twist or anything like that. It'll seem to keep it straighter. This piece going across, well, sorry, this face here down across here. And 9 out of 10 times, it will not fail. There's always that chance that it can move, and it's not level, and it causes problems. That's one way I overcome it. When you make your own studs up there, you can do what I've done. You can see there's a little bit rough there. I just put a bit of a dome on there. I welded it up and put a bit of a dome. You even can see a little welding marks still there, but my age showing, I suppose. But you just stick that in the drill, use the grinder and sanding disc on it, and you get a good finish. Okay, that's enough for now. I'll update you when I get over there to the chuck. Hang on, first of all, before I go, I'll go and show you what I've got to cut out. About 100 years old, it's a 3-phase, 3/4 horsepower. Never heard of, but I scored that from a place that with the pedestal that was closing down. As you can see here, I've already made up the locking device with my little old lathe there that I built myself. 1984. Even the pulleys are made, so they're all fitted in probably. I have a locking bolt here that goes right the way through there and locks onto this mandrel here. This here stops it from spinning around. That sits over the top of the thread. This sits over, believe it or not, sits over the top of the thread, and it's like a keyway. That's all locked in on top of that, and it works perfect. And you don't have to worry about rock and rolling and all that, because pieces of wood that go into here on that faceplate, my, they're right out of shape, and it can cause you a bit of a problem. But this way, I wouldn't. You don't have to worry about anything like it's been out of balance or anything like this, and it works fine. But anyway, there, as you see down there, this section from there to there, down there, 40mm deep, right across my angle line stiffener, it goes across there. I cut all that section down to 40mm deep, right across there, and that way she'll be honky-dory. Okay, I'll update you as I go along. Cheers, bye. Just back onto this job, putting the make this 4-jaw independent chuck. I decided to go along with completely building one chuck with its adjustment and all that, one chuck jaw with the adjustment and all, so you can see what it looked like. Immediately I found out that I had no travel room if I was going to have adjustment in there, so I had to rethink what I had done there. So what I did, actually it's in the wrong spot, I haven't drilled any holes. I'll take this part out, turn it around. Should be on number 1, which is here. And put that back in there. You can see the marks where I've been. Just been rubbing a little bit of lubrication because steel on aluminium is not the best. Put that back on. Right. You want, got to put the spring washer on too. I don't know what's going on there. Bear with me. So there we are, we have it on there just loosely. Then we're going to have something like this behind, with another keyway on there and a hole going through here. Hole going through there and line up there so I could push this backwards and forwards, but obviously there's no adjustment, so it's pointless having that. So I had to rethink what I was doing. So what I've done is this is what I've come up with, and it works quite well, and it gives me 50mm adjustment overall. This, which is what you need. This is 75mm long, okay, so I have to get 50mm, so I used 55mm. So what I did is I cut the key down to 20mm there. Then of course I had to weld the stud in there, then drill a hole through there and then weld the stud around this thread. It's rough, but it works, and that's very solid. That can't move anywhere because it's welded to that, and that's welded to there. See there, and then there, right? And you make sure that's all lined up perfectly before you go about welding anything, and you run a rule. down the side here, like so, and measure up against your sides here. See how it is. And of course it turned out as it should do, spot on. As way as bush mechanics go. But regardless, it does the job. So we put this back up here, and this is what I've come up with. This thing here looks pretty good, and it does the job. You notice that I've cut the slot out here, a couple of bolt holes which go up to here, mate into these points, these holes here, mate here, and there, and then we turn it around. And of course we don't have it on the outside of the chuck, we have it on the inside of the the faceplate. And of course we put a couple of bolts, made up a couple of bolts like such. The reason I had to do this is because I wanted the to hold at least 7 inches or 7 inches, 275 mil of whatever was going to hold. So what I did is I had to get this pretty close. Hang on, we'll get this organised. Bring that there, bring that there, bring that up like that. And of course put this up here, and you'll see straight away that I have now gained a lot more, which is obvious. Put that there. Then of course I made up 2 bolts. Just nip that up there. Made up 2 bolts, and you can see they're different sizes. Okay, obviously that's about 25 mil there. That is there, and there, because we'll put the long one in first. If I put this long one first, it sits about that far above the chuck, which causes problem on the bed of the lathe. So what I did is I got the shorter one. I made a shorter one first, because then I can use this one when this has gone to the extension of its thread. So I wind this down here. And I have got a locating hole there which is perfectly lined up, and I've machined off the edge of the thread so it locates in the hole. So now it's locked in. We wind this, this sits in there, and of course we wind this down. Okay, I've got a good 25 mil there, or 1 inch. All depends what, yeah, 25 mil, whatever. I'll put the other one in. Take that one out. I know it's fiddling, but you don't do this all the time. When you're using a 4-jaw independent chuck, you get more precision by doing this way, but you know, we only work on certain depths and all this, and then we can just, let's say, change this to a longer one so we can get that extra run down there. Otherwise this stick out's too much. And on top of this I do have to cut out a bit of the lathe bed. My lathe I made in 1994, built out of scrap, but she does the job, and she's done the job since then, and that's a hell of a lot of work. There'll be things I've done I used to breed exhibition budgerigars, and when you first start off, it costs a bit to feed them. So what I used to do is build spinning tops, and they were fantastic, little money spender, and I used to sell them for $10, and people used to go and sell them for $20. You know, but I was happy. At least I was getting to see birds. So that's one way I overcome things and all this, because I had plenty of wood laying around the place and I didn't have to buy any. That's against my religion to buy wood. And there's so much lying around. Anyway, let's say we can go down to the next 25mm. So we've got that distance covered. There you are. So I completely built one, and obviously it's ready to do. Of course, one thing with these things that I haven't got it so you wind up. I don't want to do that because it interferes with the surface here underneath on the chuck jaw itself. But another thing with this chuck jaw, I can reverse it around and I can get another 5 or 6mm in depth, which means I can come out further if I wanted to. I'll get 5 or 6 more mil on the chuck jaw, and that way I increase it by 10mm. So, you know, what I mean is it has worked out quite good. Here's a little jig I made. You can see how it clamps the key down in place, and right next to this one I've just finished. Can you see the weld on the bolt part of the key? And if I turn it upside down, I first weld the stud in like that, then turn it over, then I put the key on top, and then I hold it down with this simple little jig I made, which is using all methods of how you should clamp things, and it does a very good job. But of course I had to make sure it was parallel, and my indications when I put a rule against the face to the other hole, it's within QE. Okay, a few days later, here we have face plate with chuck jaws all plied. Probably looks a little bit dangerous. And you can see that I've cut out this section here. I was going to cover it on this point here, but I don't think I'll worry about it because it's all welded right underneath there. That's a strengthener, which is a bit of angle iron that holds that channel in together. There is a little bit of wobble in the faceplate, which I've checked with the dial indicator. Found out it's the faceplate is wobbling out, but it's not the faceplate itself. It's where mandrel fits onto the base plate. For some unknown reason, whoever made this did not quite finish it off, I don't think. I don't know. But the surface where the mandrel goes onto, on the thread where it comes through here, the backing surface, or face, sorry, has not been machined properly on this. And it seems to be running out about 3 thou down there, so by the time it gets out here it's running out about 20 thou. So 0 here, then over the opposite side it's 20 thousandths of an inch, because my dial indicator for years, and I used to fix up dial indicators company I worked for back in the 70s. Of course I used to gather all the broken ones in our rather big machine shop that we had, rebuild them, pay me for doing that when I was at home, you know, in spare time. And this is the remnants that when they went broke and all this that I had left at home, so I rebuilt one. And because we always had the same make dial indicator, so bang, I got my own dial indicator. And of course I picked this out of the rubbish bin, or at the rubbish when they closed down, threw it in there. Unbelievable. Anyway, but that's how it is. It looks a bit dangerous, these things here, like this, but it's just like anything. You do not go near the chuck when you're machining. And then probably the other thing people think is I can push down, but I can't push up. You know, I can't wind off. Well, really the amount of time push it down too much is all you have to do is release a little bit, and it should spring back to its right position. You know, we're talking about wood, not steel. So you just be very careful and use the dial indicator when you're setting up. What I'm going to use this one for, I have a model that I'm going to make of a Cobb & Co stagecoach, you know, back in Australia, and plus there was the Wells Fargo coach in USA. Same company, believe it or not. And And I have to turn up the wheels, make sure they're running nice and true, so I'll be able to do that. Plus I've got to make some for another model that I've had sitting here for about 30 years of a Mack truck. I did buy some rubber wheels. I think I spoke about this before. I find that it just doesn't quite look right. The wheels need to be bigger, so I bought these wheels. I got it at a second-hand place and all this, but they got bearings in them, roller bearings and all this, but not going to do the job. So I'll be able to make some nice wooden wheels for it. Real. It's very important, and plus I can take these jaws off, and I'll just go and grab a piece of wood. Can you see that? I'll get you in position so you can see it. There you can see it. Okay, this is what's called salmon gum. I got this off my brother. Obviously you can see that's not going to fit in there, but believe you me, I don't really have to worry about that because I'll just cut it round. So it does fit in there. It's a little bit big for anything, even for a bit of furniture. I'm going to make some footrests type of thing and a little tabletop, and that'll come up really nice because this is called salmon gum, and it's got the colours salmon look like in their flesh and all this. Very pretty wood, cut from out in the wheat belt. This timber was collected. My brother has a fire business. All the farmers get him in a lot of trees that are falling over. Collects all his firewood like that. He takes it home, he splits it up. Some nice trees there are nice and green that just fallen over. I grabbed them. So I'm storing them away at the moment. Beautiful wood. Right, the other thing you probably see on there, that this looks black. They are. You're seeing it as I see it. And what I've done is you heat your steel up to and above, just above where the metal turns blue, and then you drop it into some oil. Any old sump oil will do. And that sort of acts like anti-rust type of thing. I have got parts here on my lathe have been done like that. You can see this piece here been done. You can see that hasn't been done. It's nice and rusty. I can clean that up and I can do that, just heat it up. It doesn't warp the metal or whatever, and of course it gives a very good finish. Anyway, I think that's enough on this project now. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe and like this page. Thank you. Bye.